Hi, this is Jackie's Reading Room, and I'm your host, Jackie P. Have you turned some pages today? Hi, hi. You may recognize this as the iconic line from the Heartstopper series. It's been quite the phenomenon. So unless you don't have teenagers in your house, or you're not around young people, maybe you haven't heard of it, the Heartstopper phenomenon. That's what I want to talk to you about today, since it is of the essence and it's pretty amazing as far as I'm concerned. The creator of Heartstopper, Alice Oseman, is a British writer, illustrator, and screenwriter. She started Heartstopper as an online web comic. Then it became a graphic novel, actually a series of graphic novels. And as you may also be aware, and that's where maybe the name is going to be familiar to you, it became a Netflix series in April of 2022. And there's been a great following um, of the series. It's if you haven't had a chance to watch it, I think you should. Today, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the actual series and the author herself. And I'm going to give you my 3 reasons why I personally love Heartstopper. There's a lot of reasons, but I guess I narrowed it down to 3. And hopefully, it's going to make you want to turn some pages. So I guess I mentioned it started out as a webcomic. It was on Tumblr and Tapas in 2016. And volume 1 of Heartstopper, because right now, as I speak to you, there are 4 volumes of the Heartstopper graphic novel. I guess volume 1 was published as by Hachette Children's Group in the spring of 2019, so still fairly recent. And then it was followed by 3 more volumes. The last one, volume 4, came out very recently. But before this actually got started, um, I guess Alice Oseman self-published the first one, and then it just sort of it was picked up and it spiraled from there. There's 1 million print copies to date. Actually, I remember that when the TV show came out, it was almost impossible to find Heartstopper copies at bookstores because everybody was kind of going nuts. The adaptation, I told you, was released on Netflix on April 2022, and it stars Kit Connor, who is a young actor that you may have seen in Rocket Man. He plays the role of Nick, and newcomer Joe Locke. He plays the role of Charlie. And one little piece of information that I found that was really interesting. You can actually follow Alice Oseman on Instagram and Twitter. She actually has 509,000 followers just on Twitter, but I think this is a very small number. I'm sure she has a lot more all around, and I'll put the link to her website in the blurb for this podcast. So between July 1 and July 8 of 2022, which is just about now as I'm recording this, the bookstore Waterstones Piccadilly in London recreated um, Charlie's bedroom in the bookstore, and it's like the real thing. Very nice. I wish I could hop on a flight and go see that today, but it's not going to happen. But the pictures look great. Looks like some of the cast members went in and made a surprise visit. There's a couple of photos on Alice's website. So Alice wrote a few other books as well. Her first novel that was published in 2014 is entitled Solitaire. And the main character of that book is Tori, who happens to be Charlie's sister. And because Nick and Charlie are really the main characters of Heartstopper, the series, and they are 2 young men who actually meet at school and fall in love. So I guess if you start going crazy with the series, you can find Nick and Charlie in other works that Alice created, such as this novella called Nick and Charlie. There's another one called This Winter. And with after she wrote Solitaire, and that was when Alice was 19, so she was really young. She wanted to tell Nick and Charlie's story because they appear in Solitaire, but as secondary characters, and so that's what prompted the Heartstopper series. Other examples of titles: Radio Silence and Loveless. You can find those out, as I was saying, on Alice's website, and of course, any bookstore library. Although I have to say, at the library, you might have to wait a little bit to be able to borrow one of the four volumes because they have been very popular. And of course, it's not all. So I guess in October of this year, there will be a Heartstopper yearbook, which is going to have different, uh, I guess, images from um, the series as if it were a yearbook. And volume 5 of the series, and I was told is the last one, will come out in 2023. So it's very exciting. So I guess I could tell you about the story, but what I wanted to share with you is mostly like the themes that you'll encounter. So definitely love, first love, right? And how that can feel. It can feel very good, but it can also feel very um, uh, I don't know if I want to say stressful, but intense, right? As we can remember, friendship. There's some really good bonds between some young people in there. Mental health is definitely brought up in a very, very nice way. Bullying as well, and identity, who we are. What kind of self do we put out, and accepting ourselves for who we are. So you might wonder who should read Heartstopper. Well, I guess I it would be easy for me to say everyone, but then I'm going to say everyone that's over 18. And why do I say this? And I'm referring here to the book series. I think that because of the language, some of the language might be um, inappropriate for younger kids. So I would say 18 and up approximately, but this is not an exact science. Um, Teens, parents, teachers, librarians should read it. So I say 18, but it could be 15, 16. Older teens. But in terms of tweens, I would say that the TV series is more accessible to them. So I'm thinking 11 to 14, because there's no swearing, there's no offensive language in the TV show. It's very well done. I actually personally watched it with by myself, I guess first, and then I watched it with my 11-year-old daughter, and I had to explain, some terms. What's I guess the difference between homosexual, heterosexual. What's a transgender person? What's coming out? What does that mean? So I thought it was a super nice moment to have with my daughter because I got to explain these things to her, and we got to bond over Nick and Charlie's story. So, three reasons why I love a Heartstopper. Really, like I said, there are possibly more, but I focused on these three. So, number one, many of us can relate to it. If you're a teenager, you're going to relate to it because there is a quest of identity in there. There are some LGBTQ themes. So, even if you're not part of the community, you might be an ally. You might want to understand what um, somebody who is trying to discover who they are goes through. If you are a teen, of course, you may have gone through first love or first heartbreak, first crush. So for that, I think you would relate. There is some bullying. And it's still out there. It was out there when I was young. We just didn't really call it bullying, I believe. Fitting in, I find, is something that teenagers can definitely identify with. We we so want to fit in when we're young. And the mental health aspect, as I was saying, volume 4 is actually possibly my favorite out of all four, although I loved all of them, and I did buy all of them, by the way. Um, and in volume 4, there are some very important mental health topics, such as anorexia and that are brought up. But I find that it's done in such a respectful and educational way. So totally accessible, and it could bring great discussions around the table. Adults can relate to it as well because there are so many supportive adults in the story, which, as a parent, step parent, teacher, I really love. So the best example for me would be Nick's mom, and in the TV show, she's played by the excellent Olivia Colman. Amazing. Love those scenes between the two of them. Charlie's dad is also kind of a more subtle kind of presence, but you can tell he's always there for his son. There's also a very supportive teacher, which, of course, I totally uh, love and I'm very happy about. So I think that many people can relate to it. That would be my first reason. Number two, it talks about mental health issues in a realistic, positive light. It's not sugar coated, um, and it really shows that you need to get help, um, especially if you were a 15-year-old, 16-year-old teenager. You're going through some things, um, depression, anxiety. I see it in my students who are between, I guess you could say, 17 to 19, 20 years old. Um, you can love your partner as much as you want, but as a 17-year-old, you can take that person to the help that they need, but you're not equipped to do that yourself. So I felt that that message was very well done. And once again, the positive relationships, and there are some difficult relationships as well between some parents and children, and there seems to be, in some cases, um, some resolution, some adjustment, and I really enjoyed that. And my third reason for loving Heartstopper is it features a diverse cast of lovable characters. As a reader, and this is very personal, but I don't know. I think maybe most of us readers are like that. I love to love my characters, and I've read a few books where I just hated the main character, and this diminishes the reading experience for me. Although one could say that if that's the goal, then maybe it was successful. But in Heartstopper, I've embraced the whole cast of adults, of teenagers. There's some pets that are just Nick's dog Nellie is just the cutest thing. There is a trans gender girl, Elle, and she's also a woman of color. Tao is a great friend. I love the relationship that Tori and Charlie have as brothers and sisters. Really, a great cast of characters, and you can see that in the TV show as well. They seem to have bonded over over the weeks that they filmed, even a bit before. So that was really lovely to see. It's something that I brought up to my students as well. I even heard that some people use that scene when Nick comes out as bisexual to his mom to actually tell their parents that they were coming out. And I could not think of a better um, way that books can really have an impact and change people's lives. So run to your local library or bookstore near you. Get your hands on volumes one, two, three, or four. I would read them in order if you were to ask me, but the novels can be read in any order because they're standalone. And hopefully, you're going to enjoy turning those pages. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.